popular is the one that actually, the most popular stimulus bill is the one now they're going to give you additional $1,200. That's the one that a lot of people is talking about. Okay. And the reason why is because it's something we already had and just we was expecting for it to come around again. And so that's where they're going to give additional $1,200 to the people that already received $1,200. And then also the change in this bill will be that the 17 and above dependents on other people return where they were missed out on the last stimulus, they actually going to be receiving a $1,200 stimulus. So anybody that was a dependent on a tax return on 2018 or 2019, the last tax return that you filed, they did not receive stimulus. The person that carried them did not receive the stimulus, and those people themselves did not receive the stimulus. Now it is said that it might be retroactive back to the first stimulus. So if you were dependent on a tax return that did not receive the stimulus in the first round, it's a good possibility you might receive two stimulus, the first one and this one. So if you didn't receive your first $1,200 in the first round, you're going to receive that $1,200 plus the $200 that's coming in with this round. So, like I say, all of this stuff, this is just a little bit of information which I'm just giving because this is dealing directly with the people. But this stimulus bill is 1,800 pages, guys. 1,800 pages. So therefore, it has a lot of information in there. You're going to have benefits in there, stimulus payment for the essential workers. They're going to be able to receive up to additional overall of $10,000. They're going to be receiving additional on their hourly pay, like $10 and some an hour. So if you was an essential worker, make sure you stay tuned because you're going to be getting some benefits. That's another tidbit of information that's going to be in the bill. So, and then also the children that was getting the 500 in the first stimulus bill, the children 16 and below, they received $500 on their parents' stimulus total check because they were a dependent on the tax return and they were 16 and below. This time they're saying that they're going to give $1,200 for each child on that tax return, but it's capped at 3 children. Okay. Now, before it was an unlimited number of children, $500 across the board. Now they're saying it's going to be $1,200 for each dependent, up to 3 dependents, ages 16 and below. Okay. All right. So they have to have been on the tax return in 2018, 2019. Another thing is a deadline for the businesses when it came to the payroll protection benefit that they were giving. Now, once you receive the payroll protection loan, but this deadline was yesterday, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't even come on yesterday. It was if you received the PPP, Paycheck Protection loan, you had to, and you received it, and you know you can only use 75% of that for payroll. Let's say you end up getting $100,000. You wanted to have part of that forgiven. The only way you could have it forgiven if you was to use at least 75% of that toward payroll. Okay, the 25% could go to something else. So when they get ready, in order for you to have this forgiven, they say you had to fill out an application. Okay, so if you were in that situation where you say, hey, I had $100,000 of this come to me, you were able to get it, and in order for me to get it forgiven, I have to use 75% or more for payroll, but didn't have that many people to pay in payroll. I could use it for other expenses, but I didn't have enough people in order to use it for payroll. Okay, so that means that the deadline for yesterday was you could return that money and say, hey, I didn't have enough for payroll. I had too much money, so I'm returning it. So yesterday was the deadline to return the money in order to get it if you wasn't able to use it according to the criteria that they said. Okay, but if you still kept the money, you just have to treat it as a loan. It's a 1% loan, and the first payment is due 6 months after you receive it, and then it's at 1%. And I believe you have quite a few years to pay it off. Okay, so it's still not really bad, loan is at 1%. So, but anyway, that was just one of the deadlines. I did tell you about the IRS website deadline, which was yesterday, where you could not go in. Yesterday was the last day to go in and actually put in your information for direct deposit. So right now that you're unable to do that, so you will be receiving a check by mail. Now, I encourage you, if you have not, if you had a change of address, go into the IRS website, create you a account, okay? And you should be able to update your address within that account, okay? And you need that account anyway, because if you want to receive a IRS transcript or your wage and income transcript for the last few years now, for wage and income transcript for 2019 will not be available until probably August. So, but prior year information is in there, your transcript, your account information. If you owe, you can actually have an account set up. So if you don't have an account, just go in and set one up anyway. Okay, guys. Okay, so make sure that you all remember to do that when it comes to setting up a IRS account. Go to irs.gov as in Victor, and you can set up an account there. Also, unemployment, the part of the stimulus packet for the unemployment. Okay, now the stimulus package that's in place now regarding unemployment is that you can receive unemployment, and they're going to base it on the same information they usually base it on. And let's say, hey, you would get $100 in unemployment or $200 in unemployment, but with the stimulus, they was stacking on top of that additional $600. So if you was getting $250 for unemployment a week, now you're getting $750 of unemployment due to COVID-19. So the stimulus packet was additional $600. Okay, so in that, actually, they were going to have that until July the 30th. But within this stimulus packet, they're going to continue that process as additional $600 on top of your regular unemployment, but they're going to extend the time out into January 2021. Okay, so like I said, this stimulus packet is huge, 1,800 pages. So this is just a tidbit. And remember that they doing it really, I ain't gonna say that. A lot of the businesses is getting a lot of benefits out of this. So if you own a business, guys, this is the perfect time to own a business. If you do not own a business, start a business, because these benefits actually will last for the whole year. Okay, so this is the perfect time to start a business. So think about it. Side gig, hustle, whatever you want to call it. Start a business. You might wonder why our president didn't want to show his tax return. It's because he know how to not pay any taxes. And a lot of people probably wouldn't have understood that. But me as a tax preparer, I can understand how you can not pay taxes and have a lot of net worth. The net worth and the assets can be millions and millions of dollars, and you can get out of not owing very much taxes. Why? Because you know the loopholes, and you know how to decrease your tax liability legally through depreciation, through different deductions. Okay, so start a business. Please consider starting a business. Okay, All right, guys. I believe. Do we have any questions? Do anybody have any questions? I believe that is on that one. Let's see. Do I have any questions at all? Let's see. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I don't see any. Okay, here we go. Do you know when there's gonna be back to people's regular income tax? My son is still waiting on his. So you're talking about the tax return he filed for 2019? Okay. And is he the one that's filed it with TurboTax? Or as I know, they should be processing. Actually, the IRS is answering the telephone, guys. They're answering the telephone for tax practitioners. And anyway, if you guys call in at the 1-800-829-1040 number, I don't know how long they're going to keep you on that phone, but they are answering the phone, guys. But if you have a tax practitioner you can call, they can hook you up on the back line, and maybe you can get in within 15-30 minutes. Okay. And then you can ask the status of your tax return. I did find out one situation where usually when you file your tax return and you file your tax return